Hello fellow gaijins, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do some sort of a story time where I just, talk to you one-to-one and I tell you about my experience with Japan and how I met my first Japanese friend in Japan when I went there in 2017. I went there like the weeb that I was, no Japanese skills, I didn't know anything about Japan. I was just really interested in it. I went there like a noob and I didn't know what to expect. Now at that time I hadn't been to any country outside of Europe, so this was really a big trip for me. The flight took like 21 hours and I was really dead when I got there, so I just took a taxi ride to my apartment. It was like an Airbnb that I had for a few weeks before school would start, and when I arrived at that Airbnb, the first thing that I did was I put all my luggage there and I went outside to just look at the city. Oh, and by the way, I went to Fukuoka and I stayed really close to Tenjin, which is really the party district there. All the cool kids go to Tenjin, so to say. So it's really the good hub place for just having a good time. And I just went straight there and I walked around, got lost in the city, and it was amazing. That was my first taste of the Japanese nightlife and I fell in love with it. I went to Yoshinoya, I had my first Japanese meal, which was just some good old gyudon. It was amazing, like the best food I've ever had at that time. I felt like I was in heaven. I just took a stroll, but I didn't talk to anybody. I only ordered that meal in my really broken ass Japanese, and then I went straight home to sleep. I slept like a baby, by the way. It was amazing. It was really good. And yeah, I decided I want to make friends. I was there and I had no idea how to approach people. I didn't know where to approach people. I didn't know how people would react if I did approach them, because look at me. I don't think that any Japanese person I would approach in English would just be like, yes, let's be friends, let's meet up tomorrow. Like, I felt like that would be impossible. So as a foreigner, of course, I think that's hard to do unless you know Japanese, and I didn't, so it felt really hard. And I thought of Googling where could I go. I was like, I need to Google this shit. I don't know where I can find a friend, so let's just Google how to find friends in Japan. That didn't really help me too much. I just found like a few pages that told me, yeah, I'll download apps, do that and stuff like that, which I thought was an interesting idea. And I downloaded Tandem, which I actually made friends on. It was Japanese friends, but they didn't live in Fukuoka. I think one person I met later on actually lived in Fukuoka, and I also met up with her, but that was later on. I already had friends at that time, and I also went to school already. I was just there downloading these apps, the first day in Japan, real day, because before it was just an evening. And it was really hard for me to imagine how I could actually make real life friends, not just friends on apps. And the first 2 to 3 days I was just there walking around the city, not really doing anything. I didn't walk into any places where I could actually meet people. I was just there. On the third evening in Japan, I thought, okay, now I need to find a friend. So I looked up something international. I just went Fukuoka International something. I just put this into Google and I actually found a bar that is called International Bar. And I was like, okay, that sounds like something that I could use to make friends. It actually was a place that was meant for gaijins like me and local Japanese people to meet up and speak in different languages, if it is English, German, or Japanese, so the language that you want to speak. I went there. So I just went there and sat down, had a drink, and talked to the bartenders. The bartenders were really nice. They spoke Japanese and English, so it was really good for me to have somebody to speak in English. I felt reassured a little bit to find at least one person or two people that were understanding of my situation. So I was there for an hour and I just talked to those people. And it was really nice. The bar is in Tenjin, by the way, if you want to visit it and you're ever in Fukuoka. It's right in the middle of Tenjin. Here's a map where it is. It's really easy to find. Just go to Google and type in International Bar Tenjin. So I was there in the bar just sipping on my drink at the counter, and then a guy came in and sat next to me, like a really typical Japanese guy. He was kind of dressed like a salaryman, but he didn't have any tie or anything on him, so I think he was in his evening attire. He didn't come straight from work. I think he was just there to meet some people, and I didn't know at the time, but he would become my first friend ever in Japan. Now, at first, I didn't really pay too much attention to him. I was still there talking to the waiters, and he also started talking to the waiters, and he seemed really familiar with them. His English wasn't too good, but at least he could kind of communicate with them, and they also spoke Japanese, so it wasn't too hard for him, from what I gathered. And they were just talking, really friendly, and it seemed like he was a regular there. And after a while, I don't know how, but we kind of got to talking. And I think it had something to do with like something the waitress said. I think she said, oh, he's also looking for foreign friends. Why don't you get to know each other, right? And she really introduced us like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, why not? Let's talk. And I talked to him in English, and then I tried to whip out my daijobu and the des and all the good spicy Japanese words that I knew at the time, neko, inu, and all that good stuff, Yeah, that went good, and we were just talking about random ass stuff. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I was super nervous. Yeah, as I said, his English wasn't like really good, so I had to use my broken Japanese as well, so I could like make him understand what I wanted to say, and he also tried to make me understand what he wanted to say in his Japanese. And if I didn't understand anything, he came in with his English, and it was really a fun time, but really hard to communicate. And we decided after having 1, 2, 3 drinks together that we would want to meet up again, and we exchanged our line. If you don't know what line is, it's like a WhatsApp, but it's just used in Japan. It's just the main messaging app that they use there. They also use WhatsApp sometimes, but they mainly use Line because it has a lot of cute stickers and it has this native Japanese support. It's made for Japanese basically. So now I had my first Japanese friend. I was really excited. I went home. After texting a little bit, he told me about a place that was specifically made for foreigners and Japanese people to meet up. I don't remember quite what it was called, but I'll put it up here somewhere because I can look it up in my emails. He invited me to go there with him because there would be a meetup on Sunday, like the coming Sunday. That would be really nice also because I also had time. I didn't have any plans. So I said yes, of course. And I went there with him. Like at the time, I wasn't that much of a confident person. That was just when I finished high school and I like went out into the world. And it was the first time I really had to muster up my confidence and muster up my courage to really talk to random strangers that I have never seen before in a language that I couldn't speak. That was really something incredible for me to make friends there. So I was really scared. I was really scared. I was shitting my pants about going to that meetup because there would be so many Japanese people and I would just like stick out like a sore thumb. That's what I thought at least. But we went there and it was evening. It was like 9 or 8 or 9, I don't remember, but we had to pay an entrance fee, and when we entered there was no one there. we went on time, right? So it would start at 9, so we got there at 9, but there was like 2 people, I think, and both were like awkwardly sitting, one in each corner of the bar, just sipping on their drinks, not talking, right? And some really awkward music in the background, and we're like, okay, well, I guess we won't be meeting people today. But I went up to like a staff member, and I just asked them like, will more people be coming? Like, is this it? I paid $20 to just stand around or what? And they were like, no, just wait and you'll see. And I was like, okay, I'll trust you guys. I took 1 or 2 drinks, and after that, people started like filling up. Like the people started pouring in after a while. After half an hour, the place was full. And I was like, okay, it's getting real. So because also I was like in a foreign environment and nobody knew me, I felt like I could just do anything. And because also I wanted to impress my new friend, I was like, okay, you want to meet some girls? Come with me. And I was just scouting around, just looking around. I was like, okay, there's 2 girls sitting at a table. And I was like, look, I'm gonna introduce you to those girls. And he was like, nah, you have no chance because, Japanese people are not that straightforward. And, I'm not either. Like, it's not like I was super like used to doing something like that. But I was like, I need to do this now. I need to prove a point. So I took him with me to the table. I sat down. I was like, hello, girls. And then I started talking English to them. And to my luck, they actually could speak English. not perfectly, but at least they could understand what I was saying. And my friend was really surprised. And he was like, okay. I felt like I gained his trust a little bit more. So that was a fun thing. After talking to those girls, we went around, talked to everybody in the room, just made a round, and then we met some really strange people, but I didn't really make any long-term friends from that. It was just like a get-together. I kind of got to know a lot of people and talk a lot, and you really practice my confidence in speaking to Japanese people and get over my fears of getting to know them. And I just got used to how Japanese people think and how they like react when you talk to them or when you first like approach them with your English. That's really something that you have to get used to, because they usually are really taken aback the first time you speak to them in English, even if that was a party that they were there specifically to learn English. So I think normal Japanese people are even more cautious when it comes to speaking English. Then after that, I was fulfilled. I was really happy. We went home. I met a lot of people there. But as I said, I'm repeating myself, but I didn't make any long-term friends. The first time I actually made friends though was when I decided to download the Meetup app. It's called Meetup, so it's for meetups, but it's also called Meetup. And you just have a list of a lot of meetups. You can just type in what kind of meetup you're looking for and also where you're looking for it. So I was just looking for a meetup in Fukuoka about language exchange. And I found a ton, like there were so many meetups for that, because Japanese people just generally really want to improve in their English. They are actively looking for foreigners to speak English with. And that app is just really popular there and many people use it. So I thought I would have to give it a go. So I went to one of those meetups like a week after that event I was talking about before. And that was actually the first time that I met a few people that were more of like long-term friends that really became my close friends over the next few months. Now we'll stop this video here because I don't want to get too much into the story of how I met those friends and how that turned out, because I feel like that would just take way too long, and this video was more about my first friend and how that went. Also about that first friend, I actually still know him. I still have his contact information, but we haven't really talked too much about anything for the past year, I think. We did meet up a lot when I went to Japan again after this 6-month period in 2017. After 1 or 2 years, we still met up. So that was cool. In 2019, I think, was the last time I saw him. But still, we were good friends for a while. That was the story of how I met my first friend in Japan. And I hope if you go to Japan, you will have a similar experience like me and also find a friend. Because having friends there is probably the best way to experience it, because they can show you how and where and, everything about whatever you want to know, because they know and you don't. Make friends in Japan. Do it. It's really worth it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you want to hear anything else about other friendships I made in Japan or other stories I have to tell about Japan, also tell me in the comments so I know and I can make a follow-up or more follow-ups. I don't know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Mata ne!